Well, welcome everyone to my YouTube channel, and today I'll be talking about how exactly do you get a FFAR fellowship. That's the Foundation for Food and Agricultural Research. I know a lot of people have reached out to me trying to make inquiry about this fellowship, most especially for those of you who are studying for your Ph.D. in the United States, or maybe you are currently your master's, second year of master's, and you're planning to transition into a Ph.D. program. This video is also for you. A lot of people have reached out to me, and one of the things I do is to explain to them the basics and how do they really work through the process in order for them to get this fellowship. I should start with the fact that the FFAR fellowship is such a great offer that I would encourage anyone who has the privilege of applying for it to take advantage of the opportunity. One of the things about FFAR fellowship is that it's a leadership fellowship. It's a fellowship that develops your leadership capacity. You do things around the first thing you'll be exposed to is going through what kind of skills do you possess, things that you don't even know you have. Okay, you would do things around crucial conversation. How do you have conversation when the stakes are high? Okay, you would be dealing with science communication. How do you really communicate your science? One of the things that FFAR fellowship would do is that it will never leave you the same. It will never leave you the same. And another thing you have the privilege of doing is access to folks in the industry, access to folks in the academia, access to folks in the NGO. They will come to speak to you. You would also have some of them as mentor. That is really a great one, and I feel your PhD, it's a great thing for you to have such access during your PhD. Another thing is the cohort that you are in. I'm currently in a cohort of 30. That means there are 29 other fellows all across the United States. The fact that you're able to network with those people, that means you have resources in all of those universities. If anything happens, I have to go to a conference, sometimes we get to meet with other fellows, even in other cohorts that are not my cohort. So that's just telling you how great this opportunity and this offer is. There are three categories of this fellowship, which is always something I discuss with people. The first one is the stipend and the professional development fellows. In this category, basically, you would be getting a stipend every month, just the same way you are being paid if you're already on a research assistantship or a teaching assistantship in the United States. That's just the same way you'll be paid on this fellowship. But the thing with the FFAR fellowship is that it's usually a matching fund, such that you have to match the fund with an industry sponsor. So FFAR usually takes care of 50%, while your industry sponsor will take care of the other 50%. And in this category, you would need to look for about $32,000 that an industry sponsor would have to commit to. And how do you really get an industry sponsor? It's basically you just reaching out to industry. Maybe your professor works currently on a grant that is being funded by an industry. That's an easy access for you to really easily reach out to them. Maybe you know a contact person in the industry. That's also an opportunity for you to reach out to that person and say, oh, I'm trying to apply for this fellowship. And I need this commitment from your industry. They might be willing. There are a couple of them in my cohort that are currently on that category. But one of the things that stands out in this is that, okay, say for example, you're already on a graduate assistantship. You might not necessarily need this. In my case, my stipend and my tuition, everything is equal to what FFAR is ready to offer in terms of the stipend. So it wasn't really any difference. So I decided that, okay, maybe I shouldn't apply for that category, since I felt like, I already have what they're trying to offer in this sense, because they're going to pay your tuition, they're also going to give you a stipend. Then the second category is the first category that I talked about will be due February 22nd of every year. Basically, it's going to be due in February. but this year it's going to be February 22, 2025. The second category, which is a professional development fellow, that's the category that I'm in, and this is really where I need to make a point clear. The benefits of the stipends and the professional development and the professional development category, they are similar, except for that I don't get a stipend from FFAR, but of course my research funds me for stipend and other things. So it's important to know that there's nobody really distinguishes between, okay, this person is on stipend, this person no. We are just together enjoying the process and getting better day by day. It's a great thing that, I mean, even if you are not on the stipend category, you are still as unique as every other fellow on this program. So just trying to make that point clear. So in this category, basically you are also still going to source for a $5,000 commitment per year from an industry sponsor. This can come from other sources. The only thing is that it must not be from a federal government funding. It can be from an NGO or from other funding that you have. In my case, it was my department that was funding my the other part of that Iowa State was one funding the matching fund. I mean the matching dollars. That's how I put it for the fellowship. So FFAR would take care of the 50%. And many times I know this is always where the challenge comes, where people were like, oh, how do I get this? In my case, I knew that if I was not going to be able to get that, I was already ready to apply to the third category, which I'm going to mention briefly. And I feel I would have gotten it easily. But I was able to get a matching dollar for the fellowship in this category, and that was the category I applied for. And it's still the same way that I shared earlier. Reach out to professors, reach out to industry sponsors, I mean people that work in industries. Try to check out from them, do you have an opportunity to fund me? One thing I tell people is, those that you do research with that works in the industry, those are the contact person that you can reach out to easily. If you don't have those, try NGOs. If NGOs are not showing up in terms of ready to commit, why not do the reach out to your HO, the head of the department, talk to them. Hey, this is this, I saw this fellowship, I'm really so excited about it, I want to take this offer. They might have some funding in one way or the other to help you. But then, what if you tried all this alternative and none of it worked out? The other alternative is the professional development categories. That's the scholarship. I would have applied for this if I didn't see any channel opening up for me to match the dollars for my professional development fellowship. In this category, you do not need to get a sponsor. All you just need is apply, and as long as your research is tailored to the need of the scholarship. Basically, they're always looking for folks that works in data intensive area. I know someone from last year who got this, and I think it's something that majority of the people will get if you're working on your Ph.D. because many of us do data intensive research that are related to food and agriculture. And again, they call it the Rocky FFAR Fellow Scholarships. The Rocky FFAR Fellow Scholarships. There are different categories of that. I encourage you to read it. And I know a couple of people also have asked, oh, but I'm in other discipline. Can I apply? I'm in biosystems engineering. I'm basically dealing more with land and water resources engineering. But I know people who are in electrical and computer engineering, people who are in other fields who are also getting this offer. One thing that matters is that your research, is it contributing to advancing food and agricultural research? Then you can apply regardless of what field you find yourself. You can apply for this fellowship. Then one way to always get possibility of funding is to try to check previous fellows. Who were their sponsor? You could easily check Meet the Fellows on the FFAR website, the FFAR Fellows website. You will be able to see, for example, I see Syngenta here, I see Nutrient Ag, I see Selexas, I see Bayer, I see General Mills. So you could check people's sponsor just by checking the website. I think you have to do a little bit of search as well to try to check who were the sponsors of previous fellows. That will guide you a lot. And who would also be your fellow, who would also be your sponsor. Currently now I see Cotton here, Cotton. I see General Mills as well, I see Syngenta. And you could also have two people decide to sponsor you together. That means they could, somebody could say, I'll give you 10,000, while the other person say, I'll give you 5,000. I mean, industries now. So just like that, you could, I currently see Bayer, I see Bojo Seed, and all of those. Okay, so this current last year, I see Bayer, I see Washington Grain, Syngenta, I see Miles Wrigley, I see Cotton again, I see Corteva AgriScience, and some of those industries that could literally sponsor you. So you can't be stuck. LinkedIn is a good place for you to always source for sponsors and to look for potential funders, people that could really match the fund. One thing to note here is that FFAR takes care of 50% of these, and you will take care of the other 50%. But one thing is that the benefits that you get from these are immeasurable. Okay, you can't quantify the benefits you get from it. You would travel for different residential session. I've been to two of those. We'll be going to Washington DC next year for one of the programs where we'll get to meet legislators and all. So those are some of the opportunities you get to benefit from. I'm trying to check my previous notes on LinkedIn and see if I can if I can try to read out some of the things I feel you would benefit from this program that I've written anyway. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's do signing. Okay, we're signing up. And another thing we are almost there. Okay, some of the benefits that I listed is that you master the skills, you gain essential skills for success in industry. Connections, which I've talked about already, is another thing. Personalized mentoring, I already talked about that. You have access to mentor. Currently I have a mentor from the industry, I have a mentor from the government as well, at USDA. Career trajectory, you'll be able to develop a professional development plan with mentors checking on you to know what kind of progress are you making in this light. Stipend, if you're in this category, you could get stipend. Communication mastery, you learn science communication. I need to tell you that the way I present is really very different from the way I used to present before I got the FFAR fellowship. So I'll say take advantage of that. Self-discovery is another thing. You get to go through things like Gallup, Clifton, emotional intelligence, the DISC. All of this would help you understand who am I and how do I really use my skills to advance my research, my PhD, and able to advance your career by the time you're done with your PhD. Networking seminars, you engage in regular seminars, sponsor trips. Each of those residential sessions I attend, we've been to two of those in Raleigh, North Carolina. They are all sponsor trip. Your airfare to and fro, they are taken care of. Your feeding for the whole week, they are taken care of. and some other things you get to, tour industries or NGOs. All of those are sponsored. They are all taken care of. 360 degrees leadership, you get exposed to how do you really become a leader. Another thing that you would have the opportunity of being part of is you would have access to different books. Some of those books, I probably have them in my library as well. I know one of those is this, which is the Crucial Conversation. So you would have access to different things that, you would have all of those being packaged for you as long as you're part of the FFAR Fellowship. So I really want to encourage you to apply for this fellowship for PhD students, and you currently have some years on your hand to get through your PhD. This would be an opportunity for you to develop yourself professionally while you're also going through your PhD. Another thing that I would say is that you should not give up on trying to get sponsors. That should be easy if you can reach out to the right people. But no matter what, even if you didn't get sponsored, apply into the third category, which is the scholarship category. I've seen people get it, and I think it's not something difficult. So you can also get it. So that's all I have to say about the scholarship. Another thing is, what kind of materials or documents do you need? I think it's important I talk about that. Okay, so you need a personal statement. I think it's about 1,500 words, and basically you try to connect your research to FFAR area of FFAR research. I believe I have those currently here. Let me try to look for that and try to read them out. So it's important you know those area of research. That was where I was going to. Just one more minute. Okay, so you would be able to check those just on the website. You want to be sure you connect your research to the area that FFAR is interested in, and there are many of those. Try to also connect it to some of the SDG goals. Some of those are production system, food system, agro-ecosystem, and all. Those are the areas of interest for them. So try to check how does your research connect it. This way you'll be able to better explain what you're doing. Another thing that is important is recommendation letter. This could take, your professors are very busy, so you have to be sure that you reach out to them early. Reach out to them as early as possible and let them know that you need a recommendation letter, and remind them when it's some days or some weeks to the deadline. So usually for the professional development category, the deadline is in April, while for the stipend category it's in February. So make sure you don't let it slip off. If you are doing a master's currently and you are going into a PhD program, you would definitely just need one thing, and that is you will need one more reference in addition to 3. That's 4 references. But if you are currently on a PhD, you just need 3 references, 3 recommendation letters, I beg your pardon, on that. So I feel you should reach out to professors and get that set. You would also need your certificates from your previous institution. I believe if English is not your primary language of instruction for your master's program or your bachelor's, it's important you also submit a TOEFL or IELTS just to show that you're proficient in English. And that's just about it that I can remember on the documents. And you are going to also get a letter from your sponsor that tells FFAR that, hey, I'm ready to sponsor this person if he is awarded, if this person is awarded this fellowship. And that's just about it that I can talk about on FFAR fellowship. So I want to say I wish you all the best as you begin to apply to this. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have questions regarding the FFAR fellowship. I feel it's a great opportunity that you should not take advantage of.